Hi everyone, today I would like to tell the story of a boy who spent his whole life in a sterile bubble. So from about the mid-1950s, the weather couple lived in Houston, the largest city in the state of Texas. David Joseph and Carol Ann were raising a daughter together. The girl was perfectly healthy and lived and grew up in love and care. A few years later, the couple had their second child, a boy named David Joseph Wetherspoon. On the first days of his life, doctors diagnosed the boy with a coordinated disorder, severe combined immunodeficiency, in which the body has zero immunity so it cannot fight bacteria and disease on its own. At the age of 7 months, David Joseph Wetherspoon and his doctors were unable to cope with the disease, which progressed quite rapidly, so the boy died. In 1971, Carol Ann became pregnant for the third time. At diagnosis, doctors discovered the fetus had severe combined immunodeficiency, so they began to prepare a sterile isolation unit for delivery. On September 21st, 1971, a boy named David Phillip was born. 10 seconds after birth, the boy was placed in the same decontaminated bubble, and they began to prepare a bone marrow transplant. But within hours, it turned out that neither his older sister nor his parents were suitable donors for the boy. David Phillip was left to live in a sterile box. As he grew, so did the size of the treatment. They had to be absolutely sterile so as not to contaminate the boy with bacteria from the outside world. After David got a little stronger, the doctors allowed the boy to be transported home in the box and only come to the hospital on weekends. At home, he could watch television and spend time with his parents. The boy received his education at home. Sometimes he was connected to school lessons via a landline phone so that he could listen to his classmates and didn't feel isolated from the other children. Doctors assessed the boy's psychological and physical condition positively, but in fact, David's actual condition was quite debatable. Also, people saw in the boy in a bubble a cute and immature child who could charm at first sight. Many people thought the Vetter family noticed in him a deeply unhappy person. He could never what he sincerely wanted to do. His every action was watched like a fish in a fish bowl. He was almost never alone, and any object he wanted to take had to undergo a treatment that took 1 to 7 days. On October 23rd, 1983, doctors performed surgery without taking the boy of his bubble. The boy's body accepted his sister's bone marrow. There was no rejection, and the surgery was considered successful. When David recovered from the surgery, he was allowed to come out of the bubble. The first thing he did was hug and kiss his mother. A few months later, the boy's condition worsened quickly with high fever and bleeding. It turned out that there was a herpetic infection in his sister's brain, which doctors didn't notice. David's body didn't have immunity to fight the bacteria, so on February 22nd, 1984, the boy was died of Burkitt's lymphoma.